Hey, J.R. Fisher here. Want to explode the sales of the book that you wrote? This video is going to be all about that. In my videos, I show you how to grow, scale, and run your businesses. I've sold millions of dollars of both physical and digital products online, and I share those secrets with you. So let's jump right in and get going. Most people think that they can just write a book and get rich, but the truth is, for most people that never happens. You're not going to make any money on the book, but don't worry, there are ways to make money with your book, and that's the main goal. Now, the real purpose to write a book is really to use it more of like a calling card. It's your proof of expertise in a particular area. And I've written several books. I wrote one on the Great American Food Shortage, right? That book is out there right now. It's on Amazon. It's a physical book. I also wrote a book called 4 Steps to Find Winning Products to Sell Online. Both of those books we've sold tons of copies of, and I want to show you exactly how we did it so that you can do it with your books. Now, a publisher will tell you, oh, I can get your book on the shelf. I can get your book out in the market. Well, who wants their book on a bookshelf nowadays? I mean, there's hardly any bookstores around, and even if you do get it on a shelf, what makes you think that somebody's going to be able to find it on a shelf? The market really is the internet, and that's the best way to sell your book. I mean, the truth is the market is too big nowadays to sell your book in the traditional manner. So I'm going to share with you some secrets how you can actually sell your book and make money. That's what we want to do. So let's get going. But first off, let's look at the competition that's out there right now. If you look at, say, biography and memoirs, there's 80,000 books, and there's 70,000 books on parenting. Not to mention military history, 70,000 books, 30,000 books on women's health, and 30,000 books on art, therapy, and relaxation. Seriously? This one blows my mind. I don't understand it. Then you've got the subcategories. You've got 20,000 books in Buddhism. You've got 10,000 books in children's health. You've got 5,000 books in adoption, and it list goes on and on and on. So there's just too many books for you to sell it through the traditional manner, but you can still sell thousands of copies of your books if you do what I show you in this video. Now, that's a lot of competition for you to compete with, but I want to show you a couple books that I wrote so that you can kind of see how we did it and you can copy these same techniques. I own a survival food company, so I wrote this book called The Great American Food Shortage. I've sold thousands of copies of that book, and it's also on Amazon. I didn't sell the majority of those books on Amazon. I actually sold them myself. But I'll share with you in a minute how I did sell those books. I sell them directly to my audience, but a little bit more on that in just a minute. At the end of this video, I'm also going to give you access to a free course on e-commerce just for opting in. Simple and easy, and you can get the course today. Now, here's a book that my wife wrote. Great book, highly recommended. But once again, she has it on Amazon, as you can see, but the majority of the books are sold directly to her audience. That's the way to do it. Here's my other book on how to find products to sell online. We sell tons of copies of this one. This one's not even a physical book. It's a PDF download. So let's talk about the steps of writing your book first, and then I'll get into marketing and selling the book for a profit. The first step is to decide on your audience. You're going to want to do a little research. If there's not an audience already out there, it's really tough to sell your book. Look on YouTube, look on Facebook. If there's videos about that subject, there's probably interest. If there's Facebook groups on that subject, there's probably a lot of interest, and you can go ahead and move forward. But if you can't find videos and you can't find Facebook groups that are about the subject you're going to write about, you probably shouldn't do it. The next thing is your book title. Your book title is really important because what you want is a book title that people are already searching for. If they're already searching for it and there's a lot of search results, you know that they're going to stumble on your book on down the road once they're searching. Now, how do you figure out what they're searching for? I use this little keyword tool called Keywords Everywhere. It's a free Google extension, and once you use it, you can type in whatever you want, and it's going to pull up the results of what people are actually searching for. So you start with a base subject, and then it shows you the subjects that they're searching for and the search volume. Don't use a publishing house. I doubt you'll be able to get one to publish your book anyhow, but traditionally, publishing houses would decide if your book would get published or not. And if you're lucky, you may make some money, but probably not. Typically, the author can expect to receive the following royalties. If you've got a hardback edition, you're going to get 10% of the retail price for the first 5,000 copies, or only 12% for the next 5,000 copies sold, and then 15% for all future copies sold. If it's a paperback, they're only going to give you 8% of the retail price for the first 150,000 copies sold, and then maybe 10% thereafter. So as you can see, you're not going to make any money with a publishing house. It's not going to happen unless you're Stephen King and you've got a name. It's just not going to happen there. An average nonfiction book will sell less than 250 copies in the first year and less than 2,000 copies in the lifetime of the book. Now, if you take the numbers listed right there and you start to run the math, you're going to find out that if you wrote and published a paperback book and you went through a publisher and you sold it for $9.95, at the rate of 8%, you're going to get 80 cents per book, or $200 a year if you sold the average number of books. Based on the average lifetime sales of 2,000 books, you're going to make about $1,600 for all your effort. Doesn't seem like the way to go, does it? Not the best way to go. So why does my wife and I sell thousands of books and make thousands of dollars on our books? It's because of the way we do it. And let's move on, and I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. First off, let's make writing this book easy. So number 4 is don't write your book, talk your book. This is the simplest method you can do if you don't want to sit down and type. Now, I don't type, so it takes me forever, but what I do is I'll write out the bullet points, maybe 8 or 9 or 10 bullet points. Those in turn become the chapters. Now, while I'm driving down the street, while I'm sitting in my chair, while I've got some downtime, I will just talk about those particular subjects. And as I talk, I record those items. So I'm thus getting that book out in audio form first. Now, I've even got a video on my channel that will show you how you can write your book in 48 hours. So don't say it's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take months or years, because that's just not the case. It can be done very quickly if you use my method. Number 5 on my list is the one thing that probably is keeping you from writing your book, and it is keep it short. People don't really want to read a 300 or 400 or 500 page book unless it's some type of novel. And I assume if you're watching this, you're not writing novels. So what you want to do is keep it short. Now, my book is about 40 pages. Her book is about 60 pages. Now, my other book on Great American Food Shortage, yeah, that's a longer book and that's a paperback book. But the advantage is if you write a short book, people will look at it and go, yeah, I can read that. I can read that pretty quick. And I even advertise my book. It's something you can read in an afternoon and implement the very next day. So it's actually a selling point. Don't think that you've got to have a long book. People don't really want to read long books. Now, once you've got this book talked out and it's on a file, it's on an audio file, what I want you to do is I want you to get it transcribed. I don't want you to do it. I want you to go to rev.com and pay them to transcribe the book. Now, on average, to get a book, transcribed, it's super cheap. If you take my book, for example, it's about 66 minutes of talking, which is about 10,000 words. Now, based on a 40-page book, paperback sized book at rev.com, it would cost you about $66 to have the entire book transcribed. Now, why do that yourself? Why spend all that time doing it yourself when you could pay somebody else to do it and get it done much easier? Number 7 is get it edited. Once again, don't do this yourself. Unless you're an editor and it's something you do every single day, this is a very tedious task and it's difficult to do. What you should do is go to something like Upwork.com. There's thousands of people there that can edit books, and they can do it really pretty cheap, anywhere from maybe $75 to $100, and you can get your entire book edited. Now, I do suggest this one thing. Once you've done the recording and you get Rev to put it into text form, don't read it. Whatever you do, don't read it. Because if you read it, you're gonna start second guessing yourself. Give it to the editor first, let them edit it, and then once it's edited, then of course you can read through it, proofread it, do whatever you want to do. Now, number 8 is you need to build a sales page for your book. Your book needs to be sold. And I'm gonna give you an example right now. This is the sales page for my book. And as you can see, it goes through a whole lot of different bullet points. It tells the people what they're gonna get in the book, and it actually really sells the book itself. You need to have something like this to sell your book. The best thing to build this in is Kartra, and I'll put a link at the bottom where you can get an account at Kartra starting at $1 trial, and you can check it out. Very easy to build your page there. That's where we build all of ours. Okay, now it's time to sell your book. Number 9, how to sell it. There are tons of ways to sell it, but there's really just a few that really matter. I would suggest using your mail list. If you don't have a mail list, you can put it in post, you can put it in social post. You can also run ads for your book. This is the ad that my wife used to sell her book. It's a great ad. She gets sales every single day. It works out for her. And you can do the same thing. All you need to do is target your people on Facebook. That is your target audience, which I do talk about in another video. Now, she's been able to sell tons of books, and so have I. And what we do is we lead them to another product after they buy the book, because the book is really just your calling card. It's the way to get buyers. It's the way to build your list. Number 10 is how to make money on your book. You're not going to make money on the actual book. However, books, like I said, are just calling cards for you to get your name out there so that you're known as an expert. What you need to do is have a sales funnel to make your book profitable. Now, the same software I use to make those sales pages, I use for my sales funnel. It's called Kartra. I'll put a link down in the description. You can grab that and get a trial for only $1. So that's pretty cheap. Now, here's my sales page again for my book, okay? It's offering the book, but they can also get the audio version. Let me show you this down here. See where it says audio version? And I'll tell you, about 80% of the people will also take the audio version of the book. And all I did was actually take the book and read my own book, put it into an audio file, and now you have an audio version of your book. Why wouldn't you do that? That's extra money. This actually will double the amount of spend on this very first page of my book, which is awesome. Now, once they buy the book, it goes to a thank you page that is offering them a $27 a month recurring monthly payment of one of my courses. Now, people may stay for a month, 2 months. Some people actually stay for years. The truth is that you can turn that $5.60 book into hundreds of dollars of profits by using a method like this. So as you can see, this is the critical part of selling your book to make it profitable. Now, don't forget, you can get free access to my $97 course, 100% free. Just check the description below. Don't forget, you got to comment on this. Have you tried some of these things? Have you tried to write a book? Are you in the middle of writing a book? Put your comments below. I want to know what you've done so far. And have you tried to market a book? Do you already have a book and you use the traditional methods and it worked or it didn't work? Let me see your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that little bell notification right there, right? If you hit the bell notification, I'll be able to let you know every time I come out with a new video. Don't forget to like this video. I really appreciate it. Just crush that little like right there, that little thumbs up. Please click that right there, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.